Okay. So how do I explain this? Sometimes the things we want just don't work out. And the right decision isn't always the one we want to make. Well, hello. Is it time for another video? It's always time for another video, I swear. So, for this video, I thought I'd start out with something a little bit heavy. There's nothing more difficult than deciding to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, except perhaps deciding not to hike the PCT. I had no way of knowing back in February that I would make this decision, and you may still be wondering what decision that was. But if you'll humor me for just a few more minutes, I want to illustrate that this was not an easy decision to make, or even, for that matter, a decision I expected to make. Up until last night, I was fully invested. Well, hey, how you doing? Take a look at this. Just about down to the campground. And now that I'm further down in the valley, the wind isn't quite so much a bother. It was getting quite blustery. All through February, I hiked. At the end of February, Vicky and I jumped on a plane, flew out to Florida, and boarded a cruise ship. But all I wanted to do was hike. Hey guys, I'm on a boat. No, really, no kidding. I'm actually on a boat. Now, I know some of you probably think I'm kidding, but before you call me a liar, out there in the very bright blue, that's the Caribbean Ocean. A whole lot of it. But it doesn't make for a very good shot because there's lots of glare. So you may be asking, boat? Isn't this a hiking video? Just because, I mean, I'm here on the ocean with all the food I can eat, all the booze I can drink, all the things to do. It's amazing, I guess. But you know what? All it does is make me want to hike. It makes me want to get back out on the trail. Because as bad as you want to talk about your quandaries, there I was in the lap of luxury, pining for the pain in the ass of the trail, which was something new to me. And I realized that I had finally hit a point in my life where hiking was no longer that great big pain in the ass it used to be. I was really enjoying it. But it took being on the ocean for a week for me to appreciate that. But just as soon as I was back on dry land, I was back on the trail. That's the ocean out there somewhere. And that's me nearly dropping my camera. Hi! Well, 2 weeks have passed. That's right, 2 weeks. What can I tell you? Just after going on about how much I can't wait to go hiking, life kind of got in the way. Welcome to a few days later, and where I was hiking before is in those hills behind me. You might be able to discern from the sound of my voice that I, caught a cold. Hi, it's March 31st, the last day of March, and I am up here at about 6,000 feet. And not the best place to be when you have a cold, but I'm outside Idlewild, and as you can see, it is it's freaking gorgeous. Hello. Man. It's a week later. Yeah, I got sick again, and I right now, currently, at the moment, I'm at the Chino Hills State Park, where I just climbed to the top of the ridge. So the rest of the hike, the rest of this part of the hike is all downhill, is mostly downhill.
About 5 minutes into the video. And you can see where this is going, right? Well, yes, it is going down this trail. You know, I started all of this, all of the hiking and the dreaming about hiking the PC. I started all of it because I loved hiking when I was a kid. It mostly boils down to that. But I haven't hiked much in my adult life, mostly because who has the time or the money? And for many years, I simply didn't have either. Years would pass between hikes. Sometimes I was focused on simply getting by. But then the strangest thing happened. Everything changed. I started writing full time. In about 6 years, I've released a mountain of books and hours of video. I worked so hard in establishing myself as a writer to the exclusion of just about everything else. Vicky started suggesting I find some way to get away from my desk. And I thought about hiking. When I said I loved hiking as a kid, I should explain that, well, I didn't hike very much as a kid either. But I loved the idea of hiking. It wasn't until a few years ago, when I really started attempting some longer, more difficult hikes, that I actually found I enjoy hiking. But for a long time, hiking was a bitch and a half, and I hated it. I kept wondering when it would get easier, until finally I realized I didn't want it to get easier because I was finally getting good enough to hike some more difficult trails. So no, it wasn't hiking that led me to my decision.
Well, hello there. I've just stepped off the trail and I am now at the Rolling M Ranch Campground at the Chino Hills State Park. This is where I'll be staying in a couple nights. I may actually hike out here as well, but there's no way to be sure.
Yes, the plan was to hike out there, but on the day of the hike, the high temperature was 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It was hot. Plan B then was to have Vicky drop me off. We share one car between us, so we had to coordinate all of this around her schedule as well. Monday night. Last night. We drove out through the hillsides outside of Chino Hills State Park. No, I didn't take these pictures. I was too busy dreading the night to come. Because I realized that camping, for me, has turned into one failed attempt at sleep after another. A failed attempt on the trail, no sleep on the trail, is no way to backpack. And the pressure to sleep only made such sleep less and less likely. And as Vicky drove me out to the park, we talked about this. About how I love hiking, but I can't stand the thought of camping. And I realized that in order to hike the PCT, I need to be invested 100%. I have to be passionate. I have to want it. And just then, I wanted nothing to do with it. And that's when I realized that my decision was inevitable. It was staring me right in the face. I told Vicky that I was done. For this year, at least, I won't be attempting the Pacific Crest Trail. But she still wanted to reach the park to see where I'd been hiking all this time. And when we pulled up to the entrance, we saw this. Now, the whole way there, I had been under the impression that the park closed at 7 p.m. And I was kind of hoping we would run just a little bit late to save me from having to make my decision. But we pulled up at 6:50 to find out that we actually should have been there by 5. But c'est la vie, right? And the relief I felt after having decided that I will skip the PCT this year, instead of the pressure to redeem myself after my poor performance last year, instead of the pressure to sleep, assured me that I made the right call. Now, this is where it gets funny, because I went out for a walk this morning and filmed this whole explanation on video. Only the video would not transfer from my phone. I filmed another explanation at my desk, and then another explanation on my patio. But none of the videos would transfer off of my phone so I could edit them on my PC. Somewhere deep inside my phone it would seem, I am regretting this decision. And to be honest, I was really looking forward to seeing the PCT again. I know that quite a few people have subscribed to this channel with the assumption that they would see me on the PCT. And I want to thank you if that was the case. I'll still make videos of one kind or another, and I'm not saying never to the PCT, just no for now, for this year. I haven't given up. I'm just taking my time. I want to thank everyone for their encouragement and support, and wish all the best to the class of 2018 on the PCT, and to everyone on the trail. And I hope you stick around for what's to come. I don't know exactly what that will be, but it should be interesting. Of that, I can assure you. And there you have it. You've just survived another Ken LaSalle video. For more information about new releases, projects in the works, or even stuff from the archives, head on down to kenlasalle.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and all around social media, just as long as it's called Facebook or Twitter. Thanks for your support, as always. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll be back soon with more nonsense.